Today, we're only gonna be hiring brand new freelancers that have 0 reviews. We're gonna be their first client because back in 2016, someone gave me a chance when I was a brand new freelancer with 0 reviews and 0 clue what she was doing, and it changed my life. So we're gonna see what happens if they do a good job, if they take my money and run. I don't know what's gonna happen. But let's open up Fiverr and find these brand new freelancers. And the task I'm going to be hiring for is I'm going to be hiring freelancers to rework my worst performing YouTube thumbnails. Here they are. We made these thumbnails back when we didn't know any better. So let's see if any of these brand new freelancers can do it better than we can. So their task is to make me a better thumbnail and make it in my branding colors /font/style, which I will give them full clarity on. And my task for this video is to give you at least 10 useful tips on how to land your first client when you have 0 reviews as a freelancer. Let's find ourselves some brand new peeps. So YouTube thumbnail. So seller details, we're gonna tick new seller over here. And then we are actually going to also, because you can see new seller still pops up some people with reviews, we're gonna search by newest arrival. So the newest people on the Fiverr platform who probably won't have any reviews. Perfect. Now, really as a beginner, you need to clear 3 hurdles to land your first client when you have 0 proof and 0 experience. This right here, what you're looking at, is the first hurdle. It is that first impression. Your first impression has to make the client trust you even just a little, because I'm about to spend my own hard-earned money. You need to send me some trust signals. So some trust signals examples here. You can see some here, samples of what you've done. Great trust signal to be like, hey, this is what I can do. Here's proof of what I can do. So those are really good. And if you've never done this task before, that's okay. You can make some fake portfolio samples. You can go to Canva, open up their thumbnail templates, and then just make one for a sample client or your ideal client and use that as a portfolio sample. So I'm just gonna scroll through and kind of see if there are any thumbnails that match kind of the style that I'm going for on YouTube. You can see that a lot of these aren't really exactly my branding. So I'm gonna try to find something as similar to my branding as possible so that it isn't too far of a leap to ask them to do it in my way, essentially. Okay, so this one's kind of similar to my aesthetic. So I'm gonna go ahead and click through their thumbnail examples. Okay, that one's not super in my style. This person's kind of showing a variety of styles, like they can adapt to what I want. So that is a really good trust signal to me. It sounds like they probably listen to what clients want and then adjust accordingly. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this one up and keep going. This one says aesthetic and beautiful YouTube thumbnails. That is probably gonna be a good sign. I like the color usage here. I like the font, so I'm gonna open that one up as well. This one also kind of looks like my style. I kind of like the flower elements. Guys, do you have to fight right now? All right, so after a lot of browsing, I found these 9 people that I think could potentially do something similar to my branding style. So now let's look through their profile and see if we can find any more trust signals. The first one is clarity and communication. Will they communicate clearly what exactly they're gonna be delivering? And I'm gonna see if that matches up to what I am looking for. So if you're looking for thumbnail creation with catchy designs, then you're in the right place. What you will get, YouTube video thumbnail, Facebook video. Okay, so they do a lot of different things. Okay, this is a little bit confusing to me because this gig is YouTube thumbnails and it's telling me what I will get is a bunch of other stuff. So that's a little bit confusing, but I'm gonna just go off of this right here where it says I'm gonna get 1 thumbnail. I do like the sound of stress-free communication and collaboration. I would say also there's a lot more opportunity in the gig section to talk about, if you don't have work experience, other talents or soft skills that you bring to the table in terms of, you know, do you love YouTube? Have you been watching YouTube for 10 years? Do you know what all the top people on YouTube are doing? You know, what kind of things have you studied about YouTube thumbnail design? So those are all things you can do on your own time that don't involve, you know, having that actual work experience and having worked with clients before. That can definitely instill some more trust signals in me. So yeah, in general, when I'm looking through the profiles, that's what I'm looking for. Is it clear? Is it honest? Is the copy specific? Are they telling me why they are the best fit for the job? Some sort of competitive advantage. And my biggest tip for those of you who are just getting started on any platform like Fiverr, like Upwork, is go type in your keyword of what you do into the Fiverr search and look for the top rated people there. Open up their profiles and have a look at how they structured their gigs and what kind of information they're trying to bring across to the client during that initial first impression, and try to do your own format or your own version of that. And honestly, as a beginner freelancer, I think it's very important for you to understand the client's perspective. You know, the client is nervous to hire you because you're relatively high risk to hire because there is zero proof. So you need to reduce the risk as much as possible for a client to give you a chance one way or another. So this person right here, you can see they're 24 euros, which is, based on everything I've seen, a little bit on the pricier side. It might be totally fair for what they're charging, but you can see that 24 euros is a bigger financial risk for me as the client compared to, let's say, 9 euros instead, or some of these people are 4 euros. Other ways you can reduce risk are to offer smaller packages. Like, I love all of these packages that are just one thumbnail instead of me having to commit to, let's say, a package of 20 thumbnails. Another great way to reduce risk is to show off really good portfolio samples. Portfolio samples are the best way to be like, look, I can do what you're after because literally here's proof. So this is again quite confusing to me. It says here that it's 4 thumbnails, 2 revisions, and it says what you get from this gig is video thumbnails, Facebook video thumbnails, Instagram post design, Facebook post Instagram, and the Instagram stories. Like, those to me are all different things, and it's making me a little bit confused about whether I'm going to be getting 4 different things versus 4 YouTube thumbnails. But this one's 1 thumbnail for 28 euros, so that's quite a high risk gig for me. So now let's get these 9 gigs down to 5. Let's send messages to each of these people. Now I'm going to be as clear as possible on what exactly I need, and we'll see if they can do the job. All right, so I've typed out a full message where I basically just say it's super important to me that the thumbnail is super readable, so very few text and clean design, and that it's in my branding fonts, color, styles. I'll send them my full brand kit if I do decide to go ahead with them. And I also linked to my YouTube so they can see examples of my existing thumbnails. And I also sent them some general inspiration thumbnails that I really like from other YouTubers. And I told them, obviously, don't copy their thumbnails. This is just to serve as inspiration. And at the end, I said, is my thumbnail says something you feel comfortable doing, so that they can tell me if realistically they feel okay with it and if they have any questions for me. Another quick tip here for beginner freelancers is, if possible, turn on notifications on client questions or potential client questions so that you can respond as quickly as possible. Okay, so now essentially we're in the second hurdle of landing your first client, which is that prepayment communication. At this hurdle, this is what I'm looking for from all these freelancers, is I want reassurance. I want to build a little more trust. So to reassure the client, me, you need to first make it clear that you understood exactly what it is that they are after. And the easiest way to do that is just to repeat back what they have said to you and to look through everything they've sent carefully. And number 2, be crystal clear about what you will deliver, how, and when, and make sure you ask any questions. Questions are not a bad thing. Questions are a really great thing to show that you genuinely care about understanding exactly what the brief is before you begin. So now the real test in this hurdle is going to be, will they actually take a look at my channel? Will they read what I wrote properly in detail? Will they check out the inspirational accounts that I linked? Or will they just say, yep, no problem, I can do it? We just got our first messages. I'm so excited. I sent my messages at 1:16 p.m. She responded in 3 minutes. That's awesome for me as the client because I'm excited. I'm ready to go. And here's what she said. Hey, this is definitely something I can have a go at and feel like I could do for you. I've done all of those styles before, so it should be easy. I'm happy to be part of the video. Just remove private info. I guess the best way to go about it would be to start with 1 thumbnail and go from there. I'll keep coming back to you until you're happy and if you want to make changes, etc. So that's exactly what I want to hear as a client. Obviously, as you go on as a freelancer, we will want to have boundaries in place and limited revision rounds. But with the first client, I actually don't think it's that bad of an idea to give them as many revision rounds as possible to make them happy, to ensure that you do get that 5-star review on your profile. So I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and book this girl's package. We got another response and it says, good morning. Thank you for considering me. Yes, this is something I can do. I just want to make sure you know that I have more of a doodle style, like some of your thumbnails and the second inspiration you sent me. However, since you have a specific font, I would basically use your font and still make the aesthetic doodle statements like that second inspiration. If that's okay for you, then it's perfect for me. So I love that. I love hearing that because 1, it shows that she actually went through and checked the inspiration accounts that I sent. And she also checked out my YouTube channel, so much so that I'm going to go ahead and hire her right now. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. I love hiring. Yay! All right, we have another response. Let's see what it says. Okay, ma'am, just tell me some important elements that you need in your thumbnail. I'm happy to serve you. Love to hear that. And a picture of yours that you want to have in a thumbnail. I want to know what the video is about so that I can design as per your video. I'm not sure if they actually checked any of the things that I sent over in terms of my channel and my inspiration, so I'm just going to double check that they did do that. All right, so this person responded within the same minute of me saying, we're just double checking, were you able to review the channel thumbnails and the inspiration accounts I sent over? Are you able to do that style thumbnail? They wrote, sure, my pleasure. You can tell me how many thumbnails and some information about your video and the brand colors. Also the don't you'd like to. Probably the font you'd like. Okay, so I'm not sure if they actually check the accounts. This is not reassuring me as the client. The easiest way to reassure a client that you checked the files that they sent over is just to mention or comment on something in one of those files. Like, oh yeah, I actually really like Katie's thumbnail from last week. Or yeah, I love that style of colors that they use or the fonts that they use or something like that. Just to reassure the client like, hey, I actually did go take a look at this. So I'm nervous about this hire, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway and just blindly trust. All right, our first freelancer is already sending me little teasers of what she's thinking. I love that as a client, especially with your first client. As much as you can't involve them in the process because you really want to make sure that they're happy so they get you that first 5-star review. So let's take a look at what she has sent over. She actually also made a suggestion for a better title, which is cool. Let's open it up. So this is the first one she sent over. So, I mean, considering, I think like within almost an hour, yeah, I submitted the order at 1:43. In 40 minutes, she turned this around. That's crazy. This is like such a good start. So I like this at first glance. I really like this one. Let's see what else she sent or something like this. Also pretty cute. One thing I will tell her is that I don't really use a lot of black in my branding. Also, I don't really use a lot of red in my branding either. I do definitely like these colors better just because they're probably more in my branding. So let's have a look here. I'm not sure I like the text that I gave her, so that's totally my fault. Yeah, I think this one might be. This text is pretty good. That was actually her suggestion, which I quite like. I do kind of like that it says current subscribers and it's like at the top of the arrow though. All right, we have our first official delivery. The first freelancer has completed it. We kind of went a little bit back and forth and we landed on something I'm pretty happy with. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell her that I'm happy with it. And that wraps up this project. I'm so excited. She did such a good job. You know, I could really tell that she wanted to make sure I got something I wanted, and that is really going above and beyond. It's essentially over delivering on quite a small package. And I think that is the right attitude with your first client because you really want to make sure you get a good review in because that will essentially lay the groundwork for all your future clients. And I love that she also said here, feel free to keep coming back and forth with ideas as I want you to be happy. How about something like this? She was really speedy as well. Great communication, really fast about everything. So our first one is done. Here's the old thumbnail and here is the new thumbnail. And something I actually haven't told these freelancers is I'm going to show you all the thumbnails that I get made in this video on the screen at the end. And I'd love for you to vote on which one you think is the best because I would love to send a $100 bonus to the person that gets the most votes in the comments just to give them a kind of thank you and encouragement to pursue this freelance career. So make sure you stay till the end where you can vote on who you think should get that bonus. But great start. I'm so happy with her. I think she did such an amazing job. Meanwhile, 2 other freelancers have gotten back to my initial inquiry. So let's have a look at what they have said here. So this person says, hi, thanks for contacting me. Can you please tell me further details what you want me to do? Do I need to make from one of your video? Now this person, I actually only realized after I sent the initial message that they actually already have reviews. So I don't know. This is such a good message though. They're like quite inspired by the thumbnail style examples. Love that. It shows that they actually probably checked it out. But I do want to stay true to this video and only work with freelancers that have 0 reviews. So this video, I won't be working with this person, but I will bookmark them for future potential thumbnails that I need help with. All right, welcome to the next day. We have officially our first delivery from the girl that's been going back and forth with me over and over. And the best part about all of this going back and forth is she is guaranteed to get a good review because she has checked with me that I am happy. And she's given me as many revision rounds as essentially I requested, which she definitely did not have to do. So here's the thumbnail's final delivery. And she asked me for a review. Of course, I'm going to give her one. So let's approve this delivery. Communication, definitely 5 stars. Service as described by again or recommend. So let's send the good feedback. And I'm definitely going to tip her because I think what she did, the level of service she gave me was definitely worth more than €4. So this is the other order that was submitted. Now the pros here are, one, it was delivered very fast. This person got back to me within 24 hours of me purchasing, so that was really good. And the other pro is that I only bought one thumbnail, but this person definitely over-delivered, went above and beyond and delivered 5 options for me, which is a great way to also over-deliver. If you're not 100% sure, you know, what the client wants, give them some options, they'll pick, you know, if it doesn't take you too much time, obviously. Now the cons here, I will just say that at first glance, I would say this is not, of course, design is relative, but to me, these aren't super clean designs. There are a lot of different elements around, you know, a lot of images, and there's also my logo and like a YouTube play button on some of them. So a little tricky. I'm also not sure if they checked out my channel because this doesn't really match the current thumbnail style I have. And this was actually the person where I confirmed if they checked my channel and they said, sure. So now I'm really not sure if they have checked out the channel that I sent them. And what I'll just say here is if a client sends you examples of exactly what they want, those are like the best things that you want to look at before you book a project. Other things here, I'm just looking at a few of these are not my brand colors. So that was something really important to me, was that the thumbnails are in my brand. You know, the background's very busy, but I will definitely go back with some revision notes. I think we can get there with a little bit of feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and send them some feedback now. Okay, let's go ahead and send off that revision request. And I was as clear as I possibly could about everything I wanted to remove and what I wanted changed. So let's see how this person comes back to me. Another person has responded that I contacted yesterday. 2 people haven't responded yet, which I'm really sad about because it's been almost 24 hours. Of course, not everybody checks this all the time. So this person just wrote, yes, sure. I'm also not sure if this person has checked out anything that I sent in terms of my channel or my inspiration, similar to the other person. So I'm still gonna go ahead and give this person a go because, again, this is all about trusting them, having faith in everything. But, you know, this is just from a client's perspective, not really reassuring trust in me. So it is Monday. We just had the weekend. All of our deliveries are ready for review. So let's review them and see what they delivered. So the first one that I'm going to look at is the guy who already delivered something, and we did 1 round of revision. So let's have a look and see, because I gave him quite specific feedback. I basically asked him to look at this thumbnail because I think this is the closest one to what I would ideally like it to be, and have him remove the logo, the YouTube icon, change the text as well, remove the laptop because I think it's just too many elements. The design wasn't very clean. So let's see what he delivered. All right. So this is basically exactly following the instructions, so that's really good. One thing is I'm not a huge fan of this kind of capitalization where the first letter here is capitalized and the first letter here is capitalized. So I would ideally like it to be something like this where it's written kind of like a sentence, very casually. But other than that, pretty good. I'd say it's pretty easy to read. I'm not sure if I love this behind. He also sent me 2 versions, but is there a difference? This white box is a little bit bigger. This white box is a little bit bigger in the second version, so I'm glad he gave me 2 options. I think I'll go back to him with some more revision rounds, but I'm actually just seeing that there's more stuff down here. Okay, so 20 minutes after he sent my revisions, he decided to design a little bit more. Let me see here. So stop doing free work. Interesting. This isn't my font at all. It is the color, so that's great. I actually don't mind it too much. The only concern I have about this is readability. So the reason I mostly look at the thumbnails like this instead of opening them big is because this is how big they will be on the YouTube home screen. So if you can't read it clearly when it's small like this, then you're gonna have a lot of trouble getting people to click on it. I don't love this. I find this is super hard to read, super confusing. I don't mind this one, but I think this one's still much easier to read. So I think I would still like to continue edits on this one. And we have 2 revision rounds for this guy. So we have to get everything, essentially like what he delivers after the second round has to be it. I have to accept it. So I'm just gonna give him some feedback for this one right here. Yeah, I'm very curious if he will be able to implement all of the feedback that I give. We'll see. I actually really liked how he edited me out here, like the background blur. I think it's great. So really, I just want the text fixed, and then I'm like fine with testing something a little bit more minimalistic than my usual style as well. So let's give him this last feedback round, and hopefully he delivers something we like next round, because That's it. That's the end of the road. But let's review the other 2 deliveries, which I have not seen at all. These are the 2 final people I hired. Nobody else responded back to my initial request, so I was only able to hire 4 people. So let's see what they delivered here. Okay, so this is the person that said, I'll make an attractive travel vlog thumbnail for your YouTube. There's unlimited revisions for this one, so I'm very excited. Okay, so at first glance, I think it's cute. Definitely my fonts, definitely my colors. I love that they took this drawing that my editor did out as well. The only thing is, this is just a personal preference. I don't like it when each word is on its own line because we read left to right. So hanging words, essentially where it's just one word on a line, makes it a little bit tricky to read. So I would personally prefer it if, for example, I was moved a little bit to the right and the text was like, please take time off, if that makes sense. I also like that they sent me 2 options. They didn't have to do that. This photo of my face. I'm not seeing any difference between the 2, so actually I'm not sure why they sent me 2, but I think it's pretty cute. I like that they included some of my brand elements here. I like that this is italicized, so I think we only have to do small amounts of revision here. Okay, so let's send that revision request, but this person did a great job. I'm surprised this person has never had a client before. They obviously know some degree of editing and have really followed instructions clearly. They looked through my entire branding assets folder and actually pulled different things out, so that's awesome. All right, now let's review our final one. I'm really excited about this one because she's the one that had different like hand-drawn elements on her samples, so I really hope she did something like that similar for my stuff as well. So let's scroll down. Ooh, she sent me lots of stuff, so let's see here. Included some previews of the thumbnail. I love that. There are 2 different versions as well, sharpened and unsharpened versions of both versions. Previews of the thumbnail. That is so that's such a great way to over deliver as well. So cute. I love that she included that. Okay, let's have a look at the thumbnails. Okay, so this is the first thing I'm just seeing is really, really hard to read. And you can see that I actually didn't even see it here because there's no way I would be able to read that with the thumbnail this small. The photo not being high quality, that's totally my bad. So yeah, that's not her fault at all. This is much too small as well. So like you wouldn't be able to see what that was if you saw my video on your home screen. So those are just small edits, but I love these hand draw elements. So cute. I love that she traced me. Super cute. So I think we just need to do some light revisions here. So let's just see 2 revision rounds. So this is our first round. So let's have a look here. So you know how earlier in this video I talked about the 3 hurdles you need to clear to land your first client, right? The first hurdle is that first impression. The goal there is to make a client actually start a conversation with you. The second hurdle is the prepayment communication. Here you want to reassure the client enough that they give you the chance to actually formally start the hiring process with you. Now this right here, all of this, what we've been doing has been hurdle 3, which is arguably the most important hurdle that you have to clear. And that is the process of working with you as a freelancer. Because landing a client doesn't just end when the client agrees to hire you. Landing the client ends when you have wrapped up the project successfully and the client leaves happy. And that is the goal of this third hurdle. You want to make sure you do as much as you can in your power, of course, and of course, honoring your own boundaries and your mental well-being and all that stuff, that the client is satisfied with what they are walking away with, especially with your first 2 clients, because they're really going to lay the groundwork for all of your future work as a freelancer. My view while filming this video. All right, final delivery day. Let's see what we have as our final versions of thumbnails. So this is the first one. This is the girl that does the cute little hand drawings. So she made some changes to what I asked for, and I think it looks quite good. So let's open it up and see it bigger. So you can see here that she changed it to 1000, which is awesome. So really listened to and made this bigger, which is awesome. So I think I'm happy with this. I think I'm going to download this one because I think it's a little bit easier to read compared to this one. So this was another idea that I asked her to try out, which is awesome that she actually went through and did it, even though it's not really included. So that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and approve the delivery and finish it up. I think she did amazing. I think she did great communication. She delivered what I asked for. She did a great job of adapting what her style was to the things that I requested and my brand colors and everything. So I'm really happy with everything. We will also tip her because I can't believe she did that for $5. Something I think a lot of clients forget is they pay $5, but in their mind, they're expecting like a piece of work that costs $500. And I really don't think that is fair. You know, like if you pay $5, you should adjust your expectations to be something that is $5. I think she did such an amazing job considering I paid $5 for this. So we're definitely going to tip her. Cool, so we finished another one. I'm gonna put the old thumbnail on the screen and the new thumbnail so you can kind of compare it for yourself. Okay, I mean, that's good enough. Like, I would have loved a little bit more space between my head and the text, but they implemented the feedback. They did a great job. I'm gonna approve this as well, considering I paid $10 for this. I think that's fair. All right, now let's look at the final one. Awesome, I think they did a great job. I asked for the text to be on 2 lines so that it's a bit more readable. I asked them to add like a bit more white behind so that it like stands out a bit more. It's easier to read. I think it looks good. I'm gonna download it. They gave it to me in PNG and JPEG, which is really nice. I'm gonna download it and approve that delivery. I am so glad that they all did a good job, and I hope that in highlighting certain things, you also got something out of this video in terms of how to present yourself, how to have that prepayment communication, and most importantly, the success of your first client comes down to how you work with them once they agree to hire you. And I think these freelancers did a fantastic job of all of those things. So I am going to leave this person a review, and then we're going to upload all of these to my YouTube studio.